Good evening. I'm Athanasios Platias. I teach strategy and geopolitics at the University of Piraeus, and I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Young-Jin, publisher and editor of the most important South Korean newspaper, the Korean Times. He's going to talk to us about the domestic problems that Korea is facing in the last 4 months and the forthcoming elections, but also its international position, given that it's neighboring with China, and also its relation with its major ally, with the United States, are in turmoil due to trade war and other issues. So, welcome to Delphi, and we are looking forward to listen to your analysis.
Thank you for your kind introduction. I'll move to the podium and share some photos with you. This is a Korea traditional survey to greeting. Can we move to the photos? I got 8 photos. The first one. First photos. Next one. This is the title of what I want to talk about. The challenge to Korean democracy. This photo shows citizens clash with police and army soldiers blockading a National Assembly entrance shortly after President Yoon Suk-yeol imposed the decree of martial law at 10:23 p.m. December 3rd. Next photo. Citizens hold overnight vigil with the signs saying, "Down with Yoon, impeach Yoon, and traitor Yoon." Crack special troops overnight landed on the assembly grounds and clashed with the assembly staff blocking their entry. No shots were fired and no casualties reported. Next one. National Assembly Speaker Woo Won-sik brings down the gavel to declare that President Yoon's decree was null and void. The total of 190 lawmakers out of 300-seat unicameral parliament made it into the main hall and voted unanimously. Yoon's ruling party virtually boycotted the vote. Only 19 out of its 108 lawmakers participated. After that, troops pulled out. Yoon reappeared on TV at 4:27 a.m., 6 hours later, and reversed the decree. Next one. The protests continued, demanding Yoon be removed from office and thrown behind bars. The batter inserted into the mouth of Yoon effigy is one for makgeolli, Korea's rice-based traditional alcoholic drink. Yoon is known to be very fond of drinking. Next. See, that's a powerful photo. A protester is being taken away by police. Next photo. Some pro-impeachment protesters camped out. Next. It's an artistic shot of Yoon supporters. Now nation is divided between those who want to kick the Yoon out of office and those who want to keep him. Next. This is another photo of the Yoon supporters with our national flag taegukgi, along with the stars and stripes, American flag. The Yoon supporters, conservative forces in Korea, are known to have a very strong sense of the ties with Americans, the U.S. Last photo. This is now our former president during impeachment trial at the Constitutional Court. He claims he had used the decree as a peaceful tool to end the parliamentary impasse, get the national agenda going again, and save the nation from anti-state forces. He meant to hurt nobody, he said. That's the last photo. Here's some reflection about the whole episode. And those, please, I don't need the photo anymore. Thank you, that's it. But this is, even though I didn't show you the photos, I will explain with the words. Final verdict at 11:22 a.m. on Friday, April 4th. The Constitutional Court handed down its historic decision. All 8 justices ruled unanimously uphold the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol. The accused Yoon is dismissed as a president. Acting Chief Justice Moon Hyung-bae solemnly marking the moment like a doctor declaring time of death. Public jubilation, dancing in the streets took place, but it didn't feel particularly victorious. Rather, it was a moment of exhaustion, of déjà vu. The troubling pattern, how is it that we keep electing leaders only to remove them? 2 out of the last 3 presidents have now been impeached and ousted. Is it becoming habit? History repeating. The Park Geun-hye first impeached the president. She was impeached in 2017. You may remember the massive candlelit the protest that were taking place for days and months in Seoul, downtown Seoul. And she was elected on a wave of nostalgia. Her father, the President Park Chung-hee, ruled for nearly 2 decades, authoritarian, yet credited with Korea's rapid economic rise. He was assassinated by his top aide as he tried to be president for life. Corruption and influence peddling undid his daughter's presidency. Yoon's case, Yoon's term was tainted from early on. Rumors of psychic influence through his wife, strange TV moment during the campaign. He was seen with the Chinese character King written on his palm. A presidency marked by the confrontation, no compromise. Yet, he was elected by us, the voters. Deeper question is, it's not just about Yoon or Park, it's about us, the voters. Why do we keep getting it wrong? If we are not more careful this time, next president may also risk impeachment. Is this what the democracy looks like or something broken? My conclusion, democracy's double edge. Impeachment means accountability. This is a sign of a functioning democracy. But when it becomes a routine, it signals deeper systemic failure. Time to reflect, not just on who we elect, but why and how we do. The latest information is a snap presidential election slated for June 3rd. And the opposition candidate, Mr. Lee Jae-myung, who also ran and lost during the previous presidential election, is likely to win the election. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Go over there, have some questions, right? Thank you.
Well, the first takeaway is that it's very dangerous to be a president in Korea. Sure. 2 out of the 3 ones have been impeached, but also it's very dangerous to be a powerful and wealthy businessman because you have a tradition to also to send them to prison.
Very sad.
Let's now try to understand what's going on. We have domestic instability, but at the same time, Korea is facing a lot of regional threats. North Korea, not only because of its nuclear weapons. Next door is a rising China that it's increasing not only its economic power, but its political influence and its military might. And Korea, all this time, was confident that it had the American backing, the American security umbrella. And this is changing. And you are facing the same problem that the Europeans are facing. I mean, your whole security system was based on American guarantees, and now they are in question mark. So you have regional threats, powerful threats. The Americans are looking introvert, or they are asking you to pay more for defense, the same thing that they do for Europe. So what do you do in this situation? What's your strategy?
I will speak about those issues one by one. Regarding North Korea, I think you may think that it sounds strange, but I think we have lived with North Korea for more than 70 years next door. So whatever threat they pose, it's a conventional or nuclear threat. I would say a lot of Koreans take it for granted. Because after all, nuclear weapons, they are oftentimes used as the bargaining chip with the Americans. Maybe the forcing on a deal on Japanese. They use the nuclear weapons against as a bargaining chip against the Koreans. But I don't think it has proved to be so effective. Less effective than it is being used, against Americans and the Japanese. And number two, American, especially under Trump, I've been thinking about it. It's, obviously, the higher tariffs and the threat of, or calling your allies' names. For our case, freeloader. But when you think about all those things, I think it's we need some type of the change in our mental the attitude. If we take whatever the Trump says as the matter of fact, we may become a nutcase, if I say that word. But I think we need to whatever the outside the forces or outside factors, we need to have the mental capacity to wrap it up and turn it something into something that is advantageous to us. That means the challenge, I think for Korea, it's may work as something that can help us to undergo the changes that has been hard to come by under normal circumstances. Big challenge, the Trump challenge that that makes us reflect on ourselves, and then maybe the set aside our differences, trying to find the solution. Maybe provide us with a moment to set the priorities right.
Well, as an outsider, if a country like yours is facing threats, let's say for China, mostly from China, and the Americans are not providing a security guarantee, in my mind, you have only two choices. Either to lean toward China and try to appease China, or to become autonomous by building nuclear weapons. And if I understand correctly the domestic situation in South Korea, 70% of your population is eager to go the nuclear path. So what's your prediction? Which of the two paths you are going to take? Appease China or become nuclear?
I think both propositions you're talking about very hard to hard to accept for for Korea. Number one, the leaning toward the Chinese. That's the two things. Number one is the history. I think history provides us with a reluctance to the ally with with China. China has been a dominant force in the neighborhood. So oftentimes the bullying its neighbors, right? That's so that's very unacceptable alternative. Or going nuclear, it may sound plausible, but I think if we the Korea wants to go on independent nuclear weapons path, that means the risking being the kicked out of the normal the global community. And I don't think the Americans would accept it, because once we try to get our hands on the nuclear weapons, then the Japanese would go for it, and then the other countries in the neighborhood would go for the nuclear weapons. So it is I think basically deny the existing the formula that is non-proliferation. So it would be very hard. Both proposition, I would say, not plausible at the moment.
So you have to work your relation with the United States. Since we don't have a lot of time, just a brief answer about your relation with Japan. Historically, it was very difficult, and now you are kind of reconciling. How deep is this reconciliation in your public? I understand that the politicians try to reconcile, but how this reconciliation is being looked by the typical voter, your public?
One thing now our former President Yoon was complimented for in terms of his the presidential achievement was the foster the relationship with Japan. Before him, there had been the summit between the leaders of two countries for some time. And I think he took the great deal of risk, and in terms of alienating public opinion, and went for the better relationship with Japan. I think that's I also agree with that assessment. It was good.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to understand the politics of East Asia. And Korea, I have to remind the public, but it's a country that Greeks have fought in the Korean War inside of your country. So we have every incentive
to follow. It's a brotherhood. We still understand the Greeks shed their blood to defend our country.
Absolutely.
That's during the 1950-1953 Korean War. So we really appreciate it. Once we are brothers, we will remain brothers forever. That's my conclusion. Thank you.